The idea is really that this meeting today will be part of a longer connection between the Nordic countries and Italy on these topics, very large, ambitious topics. I think it's a lot about how we can find ways to work together, and that's what I think we would like to suggest you to have in mind. Like, we would like you to suggest how we can work together on these topics. And then we will gather and try to put together like some kind of draft that we can like send further and ask others to comment or react on later.
And on behalf of the embassies, I'm really glad to see all of you here on the second appointment of the workshop, Challenges, Paradoxes and Exchange, Gender Equality and Diversity in the Visual Arts. So this project, this workshop, is a part of a wider framework, Be Smart, Be Equal, which is initiated by the Nordic embassies in Rome. Actually, our idea with this was to start an Italian-Nordic dialogue on the main challenges of how to achieve a more gender-equal labor market with equal opportunities and a proper work-life balance. So we were really lucky because we got funds from the Nordic Council of Ministers to do this project. And during this year we have several activities and events. We really want to continue the wonderful dialogue we had yesterday at Zoom. And I really hope that the outcome of this workshop, besides this very ambitious manifesto we wish to build, will also really be a platform for exchange between the Nordic sector with the Italian one. So we really want to connect you with this, also as Maria said, and hope that future collaborations and ideas and synergies might come out of it.
The mission of today, we are divided in 3 different tables with 3 different topics. The first one is language and inclusion. The second one is work-life balance, so the relationship between private life and career. So how is it possible to combine art and family? And the third one is over there is representation. So it's more about a political issue, how we can suggest to the institutionals to change. How is possible to create a better system where women and all the female empowerment in the public art is shown better. So we have 30 minutes of workshop now. We ask you to be really clever and really sharp, because we ask you just to write 3 points, and it's not easy. Have a team of person with different ideas, having a brainstorming and create just 3 points for each topic. We match all the different ideas that we have to create an open manifesto to export to our Nordic communities participants of yesterday, and to create maybe an open manifesto, an open document in progress to close until the end of the year, because there is another part, a third part of this workshop in the end of the year.
Yeah. And so artists may have a family. Subtitle: Family should be able to share artists' space and time, because we think it's important for our society to accept that we should have a family. We can have a child, and we would like to have a normal and comfortable family life, even if we are artists. And we would like that society can accogliere, welcome our family too in the art world. So if we go to a opening, for example, we would like to bring our children without to be judged for that. And so artists may have a family. And also in Italy we have a cultural problem, because the common sense, the common feeling is that the artist is someone that has no family, no job, no responsibility, no money, but he likes it because he drinks, he do a wonderful life in the night, etc., etc. A lot of stereotypes. But we are we persone molto serie, e lavoratrici veramente serissime, so hard workers, and we would like to be considered for that. And the cultural canon regarding the artist has to change because it's a cultural problem. So educational approach is crucial to support the artist practice. So the cultural canon has to be rediscussed every day, starting from school, starting from education. Okay? And having a baby as a public, not just a private. So having a baby has a public, not just a private value. I'm not very sure about this, but so in this sentence. But the meaning is that having a baby is not just a private value, but is a social and public
For the
value.
society,
For
yes.
the society. Yes. So we would like that this value can be recognized and acknowledged, and etc., etc., etc. So.
Okay.
No,
No, it's okay.
and that is because we were also trying to find a way of keeping on the experimentation more than sort of like on a statement. So because it was about language, and we didn't want to, as we at certain point said here, avoid replacing an old norm with a new norm. So we didn't want to, establish something that was a new norm. We wanted to keep on the opening up, on the idea of stumbling stones, on the idea of maybe we had many suggestions, and also a suggestion coming from personal experiences. So we had experience from dialect. Let's see if in certain dialects or research in certain dialects there are actually words for neutral, or as instead with academic work using she instead of substituting the feminine with the masculine, and so we really wanted to stay on the experimentation, and we also wanted to stay on the experimentation for some time, like in the sense now it's not about finding something that fixes, but it's about really opening up and keeping always open. So favoring a destabilizing use of language. So introducing stumbling stones within ordinary language, and then actually we have 4 points basically. Experimenting with language according to a variety of practices currently in place. So it was very important, came out about practice. So language is not something that is instituted from the top, but basically it comes from the bottom, and then so it comes from the practices and from use. And then, of course, avoiding replacing old norms with a new norm. Do you want to add something?
We talked about money and grants and what kind of art is get the help. So we need diversity in the commissions that choose where to give the grants. And then it became a discussion also about education, that we need diversity in all levels of the education system, both on the direction among the professors. And it's a bit the same kind of discussion that you need the support from different kind of persons and backgrounds and culture, and also a role model that is on a wide range of role models. And the third point is what is actually diversity, and is it something that we decide today, or was it something that was decided 50 years ago? And of course it's something that changes with the time, so we needed continuous discussion about diversity and what is it, what kind of mix do we need to have a diversity, and what does it mean? Yeah. So we decided that we are actually part of one of our points. We're now part of the third point, discussing what is diversity and how, what do we need.
Very good.
Do you want to add?
Magnus, I shared a story with my colleagues here about how to apply for scholarships, and my history with Italy really started at the Swedish Institute. I was studying at the University of Stockholm and also Uppsala, and for every grant there's a lot of applicants from these universities, and for some reason I came up with the idea to say that I didn't live in Stockholm, I lived in Östersund from where I'm from originally, and I ended up getting quite a few scholarships, and we talked about geographical diversity. Peter, say something.
No,
You have already spoken.
I just want to comment on your story. It was actually some of the thing we discussed about this thing about, that both in Sweden and in Denmark, in the state grants for art production, it's geographically, mapped out, so there's kind of, it's more difficult to get grants if you are living in the capital. It's easier if you live far away out of the country, but of course there's a reason why a lot of artists are in a capital. So we had talked about, it was actually you who said it, that it's not so dangerous to think in I can't say the word geographical matters. There's much more difficult things in diversity, which should be addressed. And as you said before, I think it's very important to constantly reflect about diversity.
The question is, all right, I understand everything, but for institution, how can we help the institution to understand better diversity? Because I'm Italian, you are from Denmark. All different institutions are different approach, also bureaucratic approach, cultural approaches. So how can we really give to institutions practical guidelines to understand better, to be more resilient, more open, more flexible about, for example, the definition of diversity? It's very difficult.
We actually talked also about a concrete example from Macro, where maybe it became obvious that if there is one director, then it's difficult to have diversity because there is one. So maybe one very banal way to do it is to have several roles in the direction of museums or other institutions. Maybe also in that way it becomes more clear if you have 4 white women or 4 young, I don't know, if you have 4 people, you see if they're all the same or if there is some kind of variety in the people. So I would say more people in the directions, like not only one person.
Like cows.
Yeah.
Our task now is to gather all these results from today. Please reach out to us as well, and yeah, we're here.
Okay. Thank you very much. Bye.
Yes, I haven't been part of the workshop, but I think it was really interesting that it was not the kind of standard formulations, it wasn't the kind of standard answers. I felt that everyone had been thinking of their own experiences, and that was really interesting.
No, I totally agree. I was surprised because I'm not so fond of gender theory and such things, but I realize now that you get pre-selected without knowing it. And the story that I told, that I changed my mailbox just to get the grants, is one example, and I haven't thought much about it since so everybody has a story to tell, that you've been pre-selected for some reason.